So before I start this video, I just want to ask a question. When you guys watch other people's YouTube videos, what do you get for clips? Because I want to show this block that Giannis had today, but I'll get like a copyright claim or something if I screen record it from someone else's channel or from NBA's channel itself. Uh, I just don't know how people screen record or get their like videos and stuff from the games with good footage and have it on here. So if anyone knows that, please let me know. For the Bucks, I just want to say they're actually good. And out of all the negativity surrounding Milwaukee this year, I think they're actually a good team. They just need to figure some stuff out, and their competition has been like it's been pretty big, at least for 3 games. They played Cleveland twice, and Cleveland beat them by like a total of 3 points combined in both games. One was a game winner from Donovan Mitchell. I'm having a good time because Cleveland's my favorite team, but Cleveland's very good this year, and Boston has beat the Bucks as well just today, and it's not like they were blown out or anything. And I don't think it's realistic for people to expect Giannis to have 30, 35 points every single game, or he plays very well, but for to be consistent like that, yeah, I think it's unrealistic. He's human too. And for Damian Lillard, I don't think it's realistic to expect consistent 30 to 40 point games like every single game and stuff, just so they can win and all that stuff. I think they got to figure out chemistry. I think their coaches suck. I'm not a fan of Doc Rivers. I don't know how he still has a job. Like, not just this year, but I mean in the last after the Clippers and especially after the 76ers, I don't know how he still has a job. And Darvin Ham, I'm not a big fan of him. I watched and kept up with the Lakers for quite a few years when LeBron went there. And then when Darvin Ham went there, they went to the conference finals. But he's not a good coach. That just shows, maybe he coached pretty good when they went to the conference finals and lost to, I believe it was the Denver Nuggets a couple years ago. But that also does show that how good of a team the Lakers had at that point. I have to look back at lineups and whatever to double check, but I don't think they were really the same. I know D'Angelo Russell just got on the team. Anthony Davis, uh, he's obviously very good. LeBron was a couple years younger, but still, it just shows what team they had. And if you put an actual coach that knows what they're doing, I think Frank Vogel's a good coach. Monty Williams is a good coach. Um, that the old Milwaukee coach, Budenholzer, I don't know his name, but he was very good too. And if you had those coaches in that spot, I think they would have done a much better job and maybe taken a game or two out of the Nuggets that year because they got swept. But to not really get out of track from Milwaukee, they're good teams they're playing. Cleveland twice, Boston once, and it's not by big margins. They're keeping up. It's not like they're getting blown out and stuff. And they lost some games that they should have. But the next 3 games they have is the Raptors, the Pistons, and the Hornets. Now, if they lose to like 2 of those games, then there's reason to panic. If they lose all 3, oh yeah, there's some big things. But they can win those 3 games. I mean, the hardest one there is Charlotte. Detroit, they're not as bad as they were last year. Like, Cade Cunningham's healthy. The Raptors, they're just horrible. Like, they have the same record. I'm pretty sure 2-8. They're just horrible. But it's not like the Raptors have the star power that Milwaukee has. But I think Milwaukee shouldn't rely on their stars for everything. Well, that's why you have stars is to obviously get you on top in big leads. Uh, like Donovan Mitchell, it's like you're putting the ball in his hands last minute if the game is close, and that of course big stars mean something, but Milwaukee shouldn't just rely. It's not a 2-on-5 game. They shouldn't just rely on Damian to get 35 points a game and Giannis to get 35 points a game and everyone else get 8 to 12 points. It's not realistic. Cleveland, they're good. Everyone pitches in. Donovan Mitchell doesn't have to get 30 points a game for them to win games. It's a big team effort, and Brook Lopez hasn't really played that good this year. Um, and the coaching, Torian Prince, not the greatest player in the NBA. That's kind of, that's yeah, that's just a fact. but he's getting a lot of minutes. And if you give other players, like better players, the minutes on top of the players that are not as good, or more players that deserve those minutes, um, you know, they should be doing better. Like Brook Lopez, if he's not having a good stretch, take him off for minutes and stuff. Replace him with someone else, or if he's your only option, because I don't know the whole lineup in Milwaukee. Um, he's got to just he change his role a bit until he can get his shot better, like become focus on rebounds, focus on um, uh, passing it or to someone else, getting some alley oops, this and that. Like the roles have got to switch, and that's the coach's job. And Milwaukee's coaches, they're not very good. Uh, it's just self-explanatory. There's no really big need to go into it. They're just not that good of coaches. But Giannis, he's a good player. He's got to speak up as well, and they can people and I can go on about how they got here, how Giannis wanted Doc Rivers and whatever. I think he could have chose Nick Nurse or Doc Rivers. Like Nick Nurse would have totally been better, but it is what it is. But they're here now, and I think it's unrealistic for Damian or Giannis to get like 30 points a game every single game. And if they get anything lower, it's like, it's their fault. I think everyone else has to step up as well, and the coaches need to do better on how to actually train their players to do certain things. Like, yeah, just don't give Torian Prince that many minutes. Make sure Gary Trent Jr. has his shot up. Maybe give him some more minutes. I don't know the situation. Brook Lopez hasn't played that well. Bobby Portis, I think he's a bench player. I would honestly put that guy as a starter because he is very good off the bench. Like every time I look at his stats, like 15 points, 18 points, 20 points here and there. Even 12 points does something. But if you replace that guy's minutes with someone else in the starting lineup, I think that would be very good for your team too. Bobby is a great player. I think he should have a bigger role, and Giannis has the biggest role. Damian and stuff, they got to find out more plays that work, and it can't just be like an ISO game. But Giannis is fantastic. Dame is fantastic. You just got to get in rhythm and stuff. And a big part of that's coaching. I can guarantee you put Cleveland's coach into Milwaukee's coaching staff. Like you replace Doc Rivers with him, and you replace someone else with Darvin Ham. Doesn't really matter who it is. They would be a much different team because like Cavaliers do not have a player that matches Giannis, and Damian's very good, obviously. So you put in Cleveland's coach into that scenario, he can definitely make stuff happen. And I can basically guarantee that Torian Prince won't get as many minutes. I think Bobby Portis would have a bigger role. Brook Lopez would play better, maybe have a different role. Like shoot, and a lot of the times when your shot isn't falling, like your role has to change into something else. Like you need to be versatile. If Michael Porter Jr. on the Nuggets, his shot's not falling, his role's gonna change for a bit. Maybe bench him for a few games, like come off the bench. Like you gotta play around with it. I don't think any player in the world is consistent. Like every game we're gonna get, I'm gonna get 30 points every game. I'm gonna be the best defender on the court at all times. Like there are games where there's slip ups and there are bad stretches of shooting. Steph Curry has them, LeBron has them, Anthony Davis has those. So you can't expect like from your best players. Obviously, you expect a lot, but you can expect like the best of the best 100% of the time. They're human. There's slip ups. It's not falling. There's just things that happen. But I think Milwaukee will be okay. I think they would be better with a different coaching staff and different roles on the team. And it's not always about, oh, let's get new players, this and that. Sometimes it is that, but a lot of the times it it's the coach's fault. A lot of the times, not even to put the blame on the coaches, but it's just the way of their coaching, their plays, how practices run. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. Flights, like tiredness. It is their job is literally to play basketball, but there are better people for the job, and you can't have the best coaching all 30 teams, but definitely I think there's someone out there that's not coaching a team right now, or is coaching a different team that's better than Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham. Just, just being realistic. But that's my 2 cents on it for whatever it's worth. If you want me to review any other teams, players, let me know. If you like this kind of stuff, add a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see other videos. And I hope to see you in another one. Peace.